Hi, I'm Kurt Loder. Welcome to the Week in Rock. It was the kind of police bust the mainstream media love. Hard rock superstar arrested for beating woman with wine bottle. The star was Guns N' Roses singer Axl Rose, who was arrested at his Los Angeles apartment in the wee hours of Tuesday morning after a run-in with his next-door neighbor, a 37-year-old woman named Gabriella Cantor. She charged that Rose had shouted at her when she came home at about 2:30 in the morning, tossed her condo keys off the 12th floor and down to the ground, and then took a wine bottle she was carrying and hit her in the head with it. Released on $5,000 bail a few hours later, Rose had a rather different take on the incident.
I live next door to a psycho.
Yeah? She went off on you, man?
She's been going off for a couple of years now.
Yeah?
Yeah. But what do you want from her? Psycho?
What can you say, huh, man?
What can you say? Have a good one. See you in court.
We've been unable to reach Ms. Cantor, who has an unlisted telephone and no attorney of record with the police, but we did speak to Axl Rose on the phone a few hours after his release, and here's his side of the story.
I was sitting here at home with a friend of mine, Dave Lank, and his fiancee, Kane, and my wife, Erin, was asleep. She had a miscarriage last week, and she's just been in bed. And my neighbor was out in the hallway at about 1:30, drunk and yelling to talk to Dave. And she doesn't even know Dave. She just seems to latch onto my friends from Indiana. And he didn't want anything to do with it. And she was out there yelling for a while. And finally, I just went outside, or out in the hallway, and said, why don't you just shut up and go in and crash? You're wasted. And she came flying at me, screaming, what are you going to do? Who are you? And what are you going to do? Hit me, and swung this bottle of wine at me. And I grabbed the bottle of wine and out of her hands. And then she threw her keys at me, which went in my apartment, so I just said, well, I guess you don't need those either, and I shut the door and threw her keys off the balcony and poured the wine out, and then she proceeded to, for about 20 minutes, just run full speed into my door and kick it and bash into my door, and we've taken photos of the door and everything. There's all these black marks and dents, and the doorbell's all bashed up and stuff, and screaming that she's going to stab me and get me when I'm not looking and all these other things. And I told her I was calling the police, and I had the building call the police on her and for me, and we called the sheriff's office, and they didn't really seem to care. And then she went downstairs and was screaming and yelling and called the sheriffs from downstairs, and they came, and she told them that I hit her with the bottle, and so they came up here and arrested me on felony assault with a deadly weapon.
Okay, so you're saying that you didn't actually hit her over the head with a bottle, right?
No.
Okay, has this been going on for a long time?
Yeah, it's been going on in a way that she's been warned by the building if she bothers me or knocks on my door in the middle of the night and yells and whatever, that she's going to be fined by the building for disturbing and constantly keeping it up. Her big thing is to throw parties because she lives next door to Axl. I get calls from club owners and stuff all the time going, you're in for another one tonight. Gabby was in here and she was drunk and, saying she lives next door to you. It's funny, people like Madonna's dancers and stuff are always knocking on my door and booking strange hours of the night.
Do you anticipate any problem at court? I mean, is this going to be easy to prove your case when it comes up?
I don't know. I don't seem to think I'm going to have much of a problem, but then again, you never know, and I'm not, going to sit here and say that everything will be just fine, because you never know in a court of law what can happen. Yeah. I just know that I'm going to take this up also with a civil suit against her for all the inconvenience and the stress to my wife and, being arrested falsely and everything. So it's just been an ongoing problem, and I've been on the phone with my lawyers and management for about the last year and a half saying something's going to happen, something's going to happen, and this is her 15 minutes, as Andy would say, and she's inventing her life. She's one of these people that, I feel sorry for her. She's lonely and doesn't have much in her life, but, she's trying to cling on to something, and now she's found a way to get involved, and she would rather be in a confrontation and an argument than be ignored.
Yeah. Well, you have another place in Los Angeles, another house. Do you think maybe it's time to move there and stay there?
Yeah, but there's things I have in this place, and it's set up as my office and stuff that I don't want to take certain things like fax machines and computers and all that stuff up to the house and deal with Guns N' Roses, the business all the time. I'd rather have that for try to have a family life. Aaron and I are going to try again at this baby thing, and hopefully it'll work out this time.
Rose and his neighbor will be in court to resolve this dispute on November 20th. Another